Okay, I got 7 minutes here, so I'll just make this quick. I had to get out of the house. Last night I thought the Lord just wanted me to uh, work out. So, but, where I'm at now, I mean, it's so dark there as far as, people obeying God. So I'm waiting for God to redirect me, which is going to be taking place soon. But at the same time, because for a minute I didn't understand God. Why would He share something with me so beautiful one minute, and then the next time it's like He treats me like a child that's almost newborn. Well, a baby child, cause He gave me a rhyme. And I couldn't, I understood it, I thought, and then I went to look it up. I Googled it, and then it was saying one thing, but God said, no, you had it right. God, I had made some choices in the last couple of days that I thought that it was in, you know, I was still would be in God's will. But then God allowed me to understand that, that everybody has to obey God. Listen to what I'm saying here. Precious children of God. God spoke, this is all God said to me, and I had to dissimulate it. God said, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. I said, what? What's good for the and maybe somebody may understand what exactly, but I had to figure it out Lord, okay, so I Googled, okay, now I'm thinking, okay, well, okay, one goose, one, and then the Bible said, no, because I thought that automatic. I said, okay, well, one goose is one goose, but a flock of goose is a gander. That's what I thought, which was, but then I Googled and it said, no, one goose is a goose, two goose is a geese. So that's okay now, Lord, that don't make sense to me. But then God, He's repeated it. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. And I'm automatically thinking what's good for one is good for all. Okay, but then you know, I love the Lord, and I wanted to make sure that what I was thinking. Let me ask you. Let me ask this question: is everybody keeping God's law? Because God is not going to bless us. His word cannot come forth. He said, "Prove me." God won't open up the windows of heaven. God won't rebuke the devourer if we don't do everything that He asks of us to do. What's good for the goose? Let me ask you this way. Because this is simple, because I know this is one thing everybody struggles with. Is everybody keeping the Sabbath? God can't, I'm going to say that again. Is everybody keeping the Sabbath? I am trying to tell you, you are holding up your blessing. You're holding up mine if that's the case. Because I can't try to bless what God's and curse. God says if we obey Him, if we are faithful in all His ways, we will eat the good of the land. But I can't, God said if it's good for one person, it's good. Everybody has to be obedient to God. Hear what I say. Everybody has to be obedient to God. Man, I got to rearrange. If it's good for the goose, It's good for the gander. Because I went back and I looked at that thing and I said, well, Lord, okay, so that what? So I Googled that. What does this mean if it's good for the goose? It's good for the gander. And Google told me simplicity. It's simple. If it's good for one person, if it's good, it's good for everybody. So God telling everybody needs to come to this understanding that the Sabbath, the seventh day, is still within God's law. It's the fourth commandment. So if we break the least of these commandments, we broke them all. Hear what thus saith the Lord. I can't go against God. Nobody can fight against God. I was just talking about how would I tell somebody else if you wrestle with me, you're wrestling with, if I'm wrestling, if I'm disobeying God, if I'm trying to be a blessing to somebody and they're not obeying God, hey, sweetheart, I'm wrestling against God. You can't wrestle against God and win. I can't do that thing against, I can't wrestle against God. Everybody has to obey the law of God. Lord, I thank you for, I mean, it took me a minute and I wasn't being stumbled. I was just, I, I thank the Lord this morning for another day. I thank him. And now I'm here. Do you hear the birds chirping? Giving God the praise. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. I thank the Lord. I don't think I'm going to work out yet. I'm going to go back to the house and take a shower and maybe go back to sleep and maybe come back out and work out later on. But I got rest. And I think I really needed it. But hear the words of the Lord. This is all God said. If it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander. May the Lord bless your day.